America is deeply divided. There are only two sides to every issue, and there is no interest in finding common ground, not even with members of your own family. But as the 2024 presidential election looms on the horizon, there has never been a more important time to have the necessary conversation.
Welcome to the Necessary Conversation. I'm Chad Kultgen. With me today is only my mom and dad. Haley is... Where is Haley? Do we know?
MIA again. It's no big deal. We don't want to talk about it. MIA.
What do you mean? She's just
I
on a
was
trip
going to
or
do a
something, right?
rant. I was going to do a rant on it, and Dad said it don't matter.
You're going to do a rant on Haley.
No, she misses a lot, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
She
her
has a
decision.
life to live, as do we all, I suppose.
As do we, and I have not missed a single one, but
yeah,
we know this.
Well, I appreciate you not missing a single one. Do you guys have any rants other than Haley?
I have a few.
Okay.
But
bring it. I noticed that you're wearing your American flag bow tie. What is this thing?
Why would I be wearing my American flag little tie today?
I don't know.
Oh boy. Here goes the rant. What is this weekend, Chad? He doesn't know. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
Veterans Day or something like this.
It's called Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Yeah. It is celebrated. Celebration started way back in the 1800s, like in the 1860s, following the Civil War outbreak. But it became a national holiday in 1971. It always falls on the last Monday of May.
Mm-hmm.
And, people think this is the beginning of summer. They have picnics. The heat is on and all that. But, Chad, what is Memorial Day for? Really? Do you know?
I believe it's about remembering the people who have died fighting for this country. Is that correct?
Very good. Right? It's the day that we honor those who have passed away in protecting our freedom of the United States, that have died during action.
Okay.
And it can be a person in, any of the branches. A lot of people get this holiday mixed up with the other one, which is Veterans Day.
Yeah.
But I would like to go ahead and in the honor of a few of the lives lost, I would like to honor the 13 that were killed in Afghanistan with the pullout that Biden did, which was atrocious. Back in 2021, there were 11 Marines killed. One Navy Corps man was killed, and then there was another person that was just a soldier. Mm-hmm. That was a terrible evacuation that he did. We all know it. And it's like those families haven't forgotten it for sure, or other people on the other side that maybe died, but he left billions of dollars worth of equipment. Those 13 never should have been killed. Then when the transfer of those bodies came back on the airplanes, and he and his wife, and it was, was it Blinken, whatever his name was, standing there watching those caskets come off the airplane and down, what did he do? He looked at his watch on his hand about 10 times.
Okay.
It was so disrespectful. One of this lady yelled out at him, "I hope you burn in hell." She said, "That was my brother." And yelled that at him, and they just covered all that up. Mm-hmm. Sympathy to those families, because guess what? Joe Biden never gave it to them.
Yeah. So your rant is honoring Memorial Day, but also Joe Biden worst president. You're throwing a little bit of that in?
Oh, yes. He's the worst president in the history of the United States. Of course he is. He also gave a speech at, what was the college, Bob? Moorhead College.
Mm-hmm.
All black. It was an all black college. Oh my gosh. He said such disrespectful things to those people sitting there. Mm-hmm. Some of them turned their back on him. It was like,
basically called them stupid.
It was elevating those blacks that had just graduated, elevating those black people. Did I say it correctly, or am I going to get bad saying for saying black people? He disrespected them so bad
Why? That's what they are.
by saying just terrible things. I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the worst president in the history of the United States, and he screwed that speech up for sure.
But you're, just to get this clear in my mind, you're angry at him for saying certain disrespectful things. So being a disrespectful person is part of why you don't like him.
And he sold our country down the river to the Chinese.
He's just the worst president we've ever had. Instead of giving an uplifting speech at graduation, he gives this speech where they're turning their back on him.
Yeah.
He's dividing our country with blacks and whites, race baiting more than any president ever in the history of the United States.
More than Trump did when he said there are good people on both sides of a white
there
nationalist.
Were good people on both sides.
Okay.
Yes.
And you think also, just in terms of
that's a true fact.
Yeah. Just in terms of being a respectful person or respectful president, Joe Biden might be giving, in your estimation, a disrespectful speech at a college. Literally at the same time, Donald Trump is on trial for over 40 felony counts of campaign fraud.
And who's he on trial with?
Huh? Himself?
He's on trial with some district attorney who was put there by George Soros and Joe Biden.
All right.
So blow that out your ass.
Okay.
All right. Pretty good rant.
We're still in my rant, and y'all are.
We're still in the rant? I was just trying to make sure that I was getting the rant correct, but if you still got more of the rant, please.
No, that's it. That's about it. I think he's just the worst president in the history of the United States ever.
He ain't even the president.
No, he's not.
Who are you fucking kidding?
Hey, Chad, what about he will not even drug test, right? Because they're pumping him up with so much stuff for the debate.
If he doesn't take a drug test, Trump won't show up.
Well, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I can't imagine that if these debates happen and Joe Biden takes the stage, I cannot imagine there is any possible way he is not pumped full of whatever drug they can put in him to keep those fucking eyes open. I just can't imagine it. So I think it's smart that he's not going to do a drug test. It's like when Trump refused to do the Republican primary debates. There's no benefit in it. What's the benefit for Joe Biden in doing a drug test? It's smart strategy.
To get a debate?
Well, we'll see. If Trump doesn't show up,
without it. He won't get a debate without it.
Then Trump will look weak.
No, he won't.
What's the matter? You can't take me on even if I have a little cocaine pumping through the veins or whatever?
That's exactly right. No, it's not. You can't. You won't.
Yeah, it's weakness.
No, it's not.
It will be perceived that way.
Oh, okay. You're so fucking wrong.
Do you think the cocaine in the White House was Biden's?
Yes.
No, I don't. I don't think it was Biden's. I think a lot of people do cocaine, especially like White House staff and aides and stuff, because their lives are hectic and insane. I don't think it was Biden's specifically. I think Biden is on drugs that are way beyond cocaine. I think they've got special shit they've made just for him to keep him walking around personally.
The Biden formula of drugs?
Yeah. I mean, I think cocaine is like, what? What do you say?
He'll probably do 1 or 2 segments.
Okay.
I said I can't take an hour of this shit.
He's being mean.
Well, you got to at least get to halftime because I have a question that I want you to answer.
Hurry up.
All right. This is the question coming from our listener. We do this every week as well. We open the show with a question from everyone out there listening. We love to get your questions. Please send us questions. All you have to do is record them in a 1-minute or shorter audio format and send them to the necessaryconversationpod@gmail.com, and I go through them all. Here's one today just for me. Ready?
Ooh.
Hi, Kultgen family. My name is Ray, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. My question is for Chad. Chad, I agree with you in a lot of what you say when it comes to a lot of this is just completely made up with borders and governments and money and all that. But unfortunately, the realities of the world that we live in sort of dictate that we have to follow those. I would love to live in a world without borders and governments and money, but that just isn't going to be the case in our lifetime. So my question is, in this lifetime, what is a system that you see as a compromise between the system that we currently live in and your shared desire for the future? Thanks so much, and I love the show.
All right. A very good question. Thank you very much. I can answer it, and you guys can answer this too if you want to. But my answer is this. These things aren't real. in saying that we have to live in this society where these things are real. They're actually not. So this is the way that I deal with it. I don't think the system's going to change because it's all based on money. And in our lifetimes, I don't think
Oh,
we're
wait
going
a
to
minute. You said that wasn't real.
It's not. The
Well,
idea
then
of it.
why is it based on money?
It's an abstract idea.
No,
Okay.
it's not real. You
Correct.
said it
It's
100
not
times.
real.
Quit changing your fucking tune.
Okay, let him talk.
All right. So we have to exist in this system where money basically controls everything that happens. Even though it's not real, I perceive it. This is just me. This is how I get through it. I'm not saying this would change a system, but
Can you actually listen to that shit?
All right. All right.
this is how I get through it. I perceive it
Okay.
all as a video game. Money, government, religion, all these things. I know they're not real, just like things in a video game are not real, but I'm still playing that game. And so I have to play it by the rules of the game. So I do what I can to make enough money to be comfortable while still kind of maintaining my sanity. And yes, I vote in these elections if I think it's going to matter and all of that. But I know ultimately it's just a game. It is all fake. And that allows me what I believe is a healthy amount of detachment from the system at large. So when you see crazy bad news or politics are going bad or your parents are in a Trump cult, you can kind of step back from it and just be like, this is all a video game. That's personally how I get through it. As far as what kind of system will come in to replace this, I think AI is going to be a big part of that. Once most jobs are automated, I think the financial system is going to have to drastically shift. I don't know what it's going to go to. Obviously, universal basic income is starting to be slow rolled in a bunch of different countries. Some cities in the United States have already started doing it. I think we're looking at a tidal wave of universal basic income programs all over the world as more and more jobs get phased out by AI. And then I don't know what happens to the financial system, because if everybody is on this thing where you're just getting, in quotes, free money, what does money mean? Why are we propping up a system that is completely meaningless? I don't know if that's going to be in our lifetime, but I think we're going to start to see it happening in the next 10, 15 years. Mom, do you have any ideas about this question?
Like you said, if there's no money and everybody just does whatever, that's socialism or communism, right? No
Well,
money?
I mean, it all depends, because there's going to be billionaires. The reason that the financial system needs to be propped up is so that those people at the top of it can still maintain control. So they're going to give everybody at the bottom who doesn't have any jobs enough of that money to keep buying their shit so that they can stay at the top. Eventually, that whole thing is going to dissolve, though. Once AI gets to a point where it can automate food production and distribution, why do we need? And what's going on over there, Dad?
He's trying to sleep or something. That will not be in Dad and I's lifetime for sure. I'm not even sure if that kind of stuff will be in yours.
It may not be. I don't know. But I just know that the speed at which AI is developing, it's faster than any technology in human history by a lot. And we're going to hit a break point where an artificial general intelligence exists and it's in the internet and it sees all of our data and it just goes, okay, we're doing this different now. And that's either going to be good or bad, depending on how you view it. But I think there will be an AI system that comes into place relatively soon in the next decade or so that just takes control of the internet, which means all finances, all government communications, all of everything. And whatever that society looks like, I don't know.
What about this? A very good relative friend out there told me, shout out Janice. She said, do not answer the phone if these strange, phone calls come in and they say, is this Mary Lou? And you go, yes.
Yeah.
They are recording the yes. And then they'll use that yes in AI to like grab money and stuff out of accounts. Is that true?
That is not true. All right, let's move on, shall we?
Well, she said to be careful. So I am not saying yes. I'm saying back to them, and who is this? Before I hang up.
Identification, like a voice fingerprint, basically will never be used by any kind of financial, nothing that matters, because that can be so easily replicated.
She said it is. She said it's already happening.
All right, maybe it is. I don't know. Let's move on. Are you ready for our first topic?
Yes.
Libertarians hate Trump. Trump was loudly and consistently booed throughout his speech Saturday at the Libertarian Party's National Convention in Washington, D.C. The booing was particularly aggressive when he asked attendees to, quote, nominate me or at least vote for me. Trump said, no, I think you should nominate me for at least you vote for me. We should win together because Libertarians want to vote for me. And it's very important because we have to get rid of the worst president in history.
You have to get better. You have to
Only
get better
do
if you want to
that
keep that
if
up.
you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. In 2016, Libertarian presidential nominee Gary Johnson earned more than 3% of the popular vote, a high point in the party's history. Trump left the stage after 34 minutes, marking one of his shortest campaign speeches to date. The Libertarian Party is expected to select its presidential nominee today. We're recording this Sunday at about 1:15. I don't know. I don't think that has happened yet. I think they're voting a little bit later today. But it's looking like Kennedy Jr. might
Kennedy.
be the guy.
Yeah, Kennedy.
And it's not just the Libertarians Trump's campaign is worried about. This week also saw a series of attacks, although this might now be the Libertarian nominee. I wrote this before that. This week also saw a series of attacks from the Trump campaign targeting independent Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who could possibly have a significant effect on an election that may be an election won by a small margin of voters. So, Mom and Dad, Libertarians don't like Trump. Do you like Libertarians?
No,
Dad said no, but I don't think it's going to matter. I thought that their vote
they're irrelevant.
would pull from Biden.
I don't know. Traditionally, Libertarian vote, the third party, siphons more Republican votes than it does Democratic, but I'm sure it siphons some Democratic too. The bottom line is, if they're going to pull 3%, let's say that seems
Bottom
to
line
be
is they don't matter.
okay. But if they pull 3%, and
They don't matter.
this election is one that is close enough that 3% could be meaningful, which it was last
They
time.
don't matter.
It's not going to be close. It is not
Right.
going to be close.
And 3% of the entire Libertarian vote will not all go Biden's way.
No, I'm not saying that it would go Biden's way. I'm saying that it takes
Well,
3%
that's
out of
what
a
I'm
possible
telling
Republican
you.
vote.
I know what you're saying. It doesn't fucking matter.
What if it's even 2%? That could matter.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, there you have it. The mathematical statistics there shown by my dad.
How about this?
Yeah.
How about Trump? His rally
You
in
need
the
to do a little more math and a little less jabber.
okay. How about Trump's rally in the Bronx? Now, there were 200 hecklers or people that didn't like him, booers across the street.
Mhm.
But at his rally, they over exaggerated. There was like 20 some thousand. Then the New York Post said no, between 8 to 10.
Okay.
10,000, Chad, in the Bronx, South Bronx, which
Yeah.
is the district of the crazy one,
AOC.
AOC, which
Okay.
she said there'd be 100 people to show up.
Look, I'm not disputing. I think this election is going to have. I don't know if it's going to have bigger numbers than.
Just disputed it.
What?
He said, you just disputed it.
That's all you've been doing.
No, I'm saying I think there is going to be a big turnout for Trump. I've never disputed that. I simply think that there will also be a big
Then
turnout
why
for
are
Biden.
we even discussing
Okay,
this?
wait. Let's make a prediction.
Why are we discussing
Okay.
Libertarian votes if it doesn't matter?
Because it's also about public perception. There is now video footage of Donald Trump standing in front of a big crowd, all booing him for a long time, and he gets flustered by it. He takes the booing for a little while, then you see him crack. You see him go, fine, you only vote for me if you want to win. If you don't want to win, don't do it. You see them get to him, and that's rare. Usually that guy is like ice water in the veins. He doesn't give a shit what people are saying. But he cracked right there. And does that maybe have an impact?
Let's make a prediction.
Okay.
Do you think Trump is going to win by a landslide, or do you
No.
think it's going to be close?
No one will win by a landslide. I don't know who's going to win. I really, at this point, think it's like 50-50. I don't know.
I'm making the prediction Trump will win by a landslide. Mark that down, unless they cheat again. Unless they cheat again.
But see, in the cheating thing, and I mean, this is part of like Trump's strategy,
Dead
obviously, and it's
people
worked.
voted. Jesus.
They can't cheat. Too big to rig.
Too big
Too
to
big
rig.
to
That's a
rig.
good
All right.
one.
Well,
Well, that's
at any
Trump.
rate, I'm saying that.
Trump says that.
All right.
What?
Trump says it. Let's just move on, shall we? Let me ask you one more
No,
question
what are
about
you
this.
saying?
Huh?
You're saying that.
Trump says it's going to be too big to rig.
Okay. Well, we have to believe Trump then. Now,
Yes, we do.
so if it's too big to rig, you
I
then will
believe
accept.
Trump more than I believe you and Joe Biden.
Okay. Believe Trump too big to rig, which means you have to accept the outcome of this vote then. Because if it's too big to rig, it can't be rigged.
That's right. He's going to win by landslide.
Right? So I don't
I
want to
can't
hear
wait.
anything about how it was rigged or it wasn't fair or dead people were voting. Trump is telling you it's too big to rig. So
And
it
Chad.
can't be rigged.
Chad, who you
Yeah.
voting for?
I have to vote for Trump.
Yay!
It's my gift to you, Dad. I hope you enjoy it. All right, let me ask you one more question about this before we move on to the next
Enjoy it?
topic.
He enjoys it.
All right,
Do you
great.
enjoy it? Bullshit.
All right, let
Oh,
me ask
we're
you
fine.
one more topic. Do you believe we should allow third parties in the United States?
Yes. Third, fourth, fifth, whatever. Why
Okay.
not?
Dad?
Yeah,
Why not?
Okay.
go ahead.
Wake up.
I was
Load
just
'em up.
curious. All right, let's move on to our next topic. A verdict in the Trump trial is expected this week. After several weeks of witnesses like Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen closing arguments from the prosecution and the defense in Donald Trump's criminal trial are expected to commence on Tuesday with a verdict as soon as Wednesday. President Biden has remained silent about any of the proceedings during the trial, but plans to speak about it publicly in a White House setting once a verdict is reached. Biden and his team will likely use a conviction as evidence that Trump is not suited for the job of president, and certainly they will be able to refer to him as a convicted felon in any subsequent messaging. If Trump is acquitted, it's uncertain what their strategy might be to spin this in their favor, but certainly Trump's strategy will be to tell everyone it was a rigged election from the beginning and justice has been served. Mom and Dad, are you anxious about this verdict? Are you excited? What are your feelings as diehard Trump supporters heading into this week where this decision could be a make or break moment for his campaign?
I'm excited. It's going to make him. It will be.
I'm not nervous at all. It doesn't matter whether he's guilty or not guilty. He's going to soar to new heights, no matter which. And if they find him guilty and that judge sentences him, that's the end of that motherfucker's career.
The judge.
Yes.
Okay. But not his life. I thought you might go to that angle. That
Oh,
they would kill him.
there's a very good chance he could get his ass shot.
Okay. Interesting. Mom, how are you feeling this week? Excited,
I'm
nervous?
feeling good. I want it to be over, which it will be, and he'll
Yeah,
be found
either
not
way.
guilty.
It
Not
really
guilty.
doesn't matter which way they go. He's going to come out smelling like a
Yeah.
rose.
So wait a minute though. Mom, you're saying you think he's going to be found not guilty?
I think
Good chance.
there'll be one person that will, hang the jury, whatever.
Yeah.
It's.
But you think that one person will be against Trump? You think the majority of the jury is pro-Trump?
Yes.
Interesting. I would say from everything I've read about the testimony and all the witnesses they had, all the little moments where his attorneys were getting on the judge's nerves and all this stuff, I would say that the trial, just from what I've read, went very badly for Donald Trump. I think any rational person would find him guilty.
It can't go badly for Donald Trump.
All right.
Why do you?
He's going to win. Whether he's guilty or not guilty, he's going to win.
Right. In terms of the trial, what he was on trial for, I think definitely enough evidence was presented in a very clear way. And I think everything that Trump's defense attorneys, not everything, but many of the things they tried to do in his favor backfired. And at least from everything I'm reading. Now, that said, this is all that matters in that trial, in my opinion.
Right.
Who on the jury is a Trump supporter
MSNBC.
and who is not. And if there's
CNN.
one Trump supporter in that group of people, then I think it's a hung jury. I think that's the most likely outcome is a mistrial.
Yes.
And then we get nothing. Then it's like he didn't win or lose. He just gets to walk away from it. And I don't know that does anything to the mind of the voter or anything.
He's already won.
Right.
I think the voters already feel like they can't believe they're making him do this trial. They can't believe that he's still there doing it, hanging in there. I think they have sympathy for him.
Really?
He's already
Yes.
won. It
Even-
doesn't matter what
he's
the
like
jury
falling-
does. He's already won.
But he's falling asleep during the trial. He's farting all the time. He smells bad. There are these kind of
stop.
like...
Are you there? You don't know.
That is reported by a bunch of people who are there in person.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the sleeping thing, you know that. You know that he's sleeping during his own trial.
I'm sleeping during this.
Dad's sleeping during the.
Well,
So there you go.
glad to help you out a little bit. Let me ask you this question about this
You're
trial.
bored shitless, and whatever's coming out of the other side doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
You go to sleep.
Okay.
If Trump is convicted, how do you think he's going to use that in his campaign? How will he spin that?
Oh,
How would he spin it?
tremendous.
That if he's convicted, he won't be convicted. So I don't even know what to say to that question.
All right. Well, we're going to find out. I'll be very curious. I think next week's episode is going to be a very good one because it's very likely that the verdict will come down this week.
This week by Friday,
yeah.
I think they said, yeah.
All right, let's move on.
I didn't think it'd go this long.
It was only a couple of weeks. I figured it would at least be
been
that.
3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten too riled up, but nonetheless, this is our cool down, simmer down. All of us in this family, Haley included, I wish she was here for this, but she's not. We have all significantly played sports. That has been a big part of all of our lives at one point or another. None of us went pro, but we all did continue to play sports well into adulthood, various sports. So I wanted to ask each of you, what is your favorite moment from your playing days? Not something that you watched me or Haley do, but something that you did in a game. It could be a play. It could be anything. What's your fondest memory of something you did in sports?
Bob, go. He'll wake up for this.
I got a lot of, I think the best one was winning the WCKL in wrestling.
What's the
What was that?
WCKL?
The league we were in, I beat the state champion in Division 2, Division 3, Division 4, and they were all in our league, and I beat them all.
And this was in high school, college?
Yes, high school.
Okay. And so were you the high school state champion that year?
No,
What happened?
I lost in the regionals to the eventual state champion.
Do you remember that guy's name?
Yeah, well, yeah, he was from Ark City.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, where'd he go?
We'll
We'll have to look
I
at
kind
it.
of remember his name, but I
Yeah.
don't.
What
we
do you
were,
remember? Any of your specific moves or anything, like how you won some of these
Oh,
matches?
yes.
No, I
Yes.
lost him 4-3
Mhm.
on riding time, so it was close.
You know takedowns and stuff, though. You know your moves.
But I think winning the league and beating 3 state champions was probably my best deal.
All right. That's pretty good.
That's bragging. He's bragging
Yeah.
now.
Mom, what do you got?
Well, I'm an athlete of so many adventures. I'm not really sure which one to pick. No, I'm teasing. I'm
All
so
right.
great at everything. Oh God, I will just brain farted. It would be when I got 2 different acceptance letters to play tennis in college, and that was pretty cool. Or they wanted me for scholarships. One
Yeah.
was MU, Missouri University, and then Barton County College, and then Kansas State. So all of those letters, playing in college, that was probably pretty cool. And then riding my shiny hiney in a world show where we got 3rd and 5th. That was pretty cool too.
Interesting. For me, it is a single swing of a baseball bat. I played high school baseball and then played like in this adult league out here in LA for a long time. And I remember we had this game at Pierce College out here, and the guy we were facing threw supposedly 90 miles an hour. He did throw harder than anybody in our league. And there were some guys in our league that were like ex-AAA players and stuff. We did see some guys hit 90 every once in a while.
Dad and I came and watched you once play.
Yeah, this was a little bit after you guys came out to watch.
Okay.
At any rate, I remember the single pitch this guy threw. I was like 90 miles an hour. I have one shot at this. I'm just going to swing as soon as it leaves his hand. But this one fastball he threw, I just saw it so crystal clear, and I put the meat of the bat right on it and hit a line drive home run over center field that wound up winning the game. But it was just like the cleanest single hit I've ever had in my life.
A
was
line
perfectly
drive
placed.
home run. So
Yeah.
it went down the line and up, though.
What?
Or not. It was down on the grass, line drive.
No,
What?
Line drives in the air.
it just was like straight. It wasn't, like a
Oh.
pop fly kind of has like an arcing loop.
Okay,
This was
don't
just like
be
a
stupid.
straight shot off the bat over the center field wall, which I think was 415 or 410 at this
Okay.
college. Yeah, and it was just like I said, it was just the single cleanest hit I've ever had in my life, and I'll never forget.
And
it.
I think for me and Dad watching you and Haley, of course, it would be you playing your baseball. Those were good games, and Haley playing softball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. A little bit of the sporting history of the Kultgen family. Now let's get back into politics. Protests in Israel. Physical altercations between Israeli police and protesters erupted in Tel Aviv on Saturday after thousands gathered to demonstrate against the government and demand that it bring back the hostages held by Hamas. Some held banners reading, quote, "Stop the war" and, quote, "Help." The protesters also... Oh, my monitor went out. Sorry. The protesters also called for the resignation of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and demanded new elections. Also this week, 3 European countries announced they would recognize a Palestinian state, and the chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Court requested arrest warrants for Israeli leaders along with Hamas officials. On Friday, the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to end its military offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah and to open the nearby border crossing for crucial humanitarian aid. The top United Nations court also said Israel must give war crimes investigators access to Gaza. Mom, what do you think it means that Netanyahu's own citizens are now protesting against him and calling for him to step down?
Nothing. He's going to keep going. That doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Dad?
What?
Really.
What do you think it means that Netanyahu's citizens are protesting against him and calling for him to step down?
Nothing.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
You don't think
None
it
of this
means
is
anything
real.
in the world?
No.
None
The
of
public
this is
perception
real.
of this? That even the
No.
citizens of Israel are now turning against that war?
No. Because
Okay.
Netanyahu will not quit until Hamas is dead.
Which will never happen. That cannot happen. Every
Well,
time you
then the
kill
war will never
another
end.
Palestinian,
The war will never end.
Go on forever.
you think that will be allowed. There are already now, as I said in this, there are 3 countries, Spain, Ireland, and Norway, said that they will recognize a Palestinian state. Do you think
Yeah,
other
those
countries
are
are going to join them?
biggies. Those are biggies.
What do you mean?
It doesn't matter whether they recognize it or not. It's retarded.
All right. But do you think other countries may join them?
No.
0 other countries. That's a prediction?
No.
Okay.
Just there won't be enough to matter.
Right.
If Palestine, it will no longer exist in 6 months.
Okay. But do you think that let's
Write
assume...
it down.
All right. I'll put that in your predictions. This was on... God, you have so many predictions. You have 15 predictions. We should just do an episode where we go through all these predictions. So this would be on... What are we at? 526.
527.
We've
Or
got
no, that's right.
Or
Yeah.
what was it? Palestine will not exist within 6 months?
I would say by the end of the year, December 31st.
Will
I
not
think that's
exist
a little over 6 months, but it's not many.
by December 31st, 2024. Okay, I got you in there for that. I'll put you down for that. What I am curious about is why you think that's the case. Why do you think Israel is going to be allowed to do this? It seems to me like when you've got 3 countries basically saying...
here's the difference between you and me. You think Israel's not going to be allowed. They don't have to be allowed.
Mhm.
They're going to do it.
Well, that's what it seems like. I remember when Joe Biden said we'd cut aid if you go into Rafah. They did go in. They're in there now, and they're not cutting aid.
They're
at
going
least
to
to my
wipe
knowledge.
those fuckers out.
Why has everybody forgotten about the damn prisoners of war? Are they all dead?
They're all dead.
No one's told
They're
us.
all dead.
I go to sleep at night and that really bugs me.
They're
No,
all dead.
They're not all dead. They released a bunch of them. They have found
They're
some
all
bodies as well.
dead.
They've gotten bodies back. They have released a bunch of them, though. They did a trade,
all
a
dead.
swap, a prisoner swap. Hamas
There ain't any
and
left.
the Israeli army did, whatever that was,
There
a couple
aren't
months
any
ago. I think.
left.
But there are some that are probably still alive, I would
doubt
imagine.
it.
Otherwise, they have no way to bargain. I don't know why Hamas would kill
Well,
them.
they don't have any way to bargain, and they
Right.
can't prove that they're alive either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to see what happens, obviously, with...
You're going to find out who the cow ate cabbage is, and it's Netanyahu.
Right. But,
He's going to call all the shots from here to the finish.
okay.
And it doesn't matter what the world fucking thinks.
All right.
Because he's not going to let the world exterminate his country.
Nobody's trying to exterminate his country.
Oh,
Even
yes,
Hamas.
they are.
All right.
Palestinians are.
I mean, maybe, but they're not
They're
succeeding
going
at it,
to all
obviously.
die.
Okay. So
And
do you...
I, for one, will vote for complete and 100% extermination of Palestine.
What
Okay.
ballot will that be on that you're voting that?
Donald
It
Trump.
doesn't matter. It's public
Donald
opinion.
Trump's going to issue a ballot that says complete
It's- hey,
extermination of Palestine,
It's
yes or no?
public fucking opinion, and I'm part of the public.
Right. Well,
Okay.
that's what I'm getting at with public opinion. There are 3 countries now saying,
Yeah, 3 countries the size of fucking New Hampshire.
You need to sit up a little.
They ain't worth the time of day to even talk about.
no, but it
Fuck.
is worth the time of day to talk about because this is a first. At least
Fuck
in
all
the
3 of them.
God, he
I'm-
won't sit up.
But you don't think that having these
No.
3 countries say we recognize Palestine, they're going directly against Israel and what Netanyahu is trying to do, and
And
kind of in a
eventually
proxy
they'll be
way.
the bad guys.
What's that? They will be the bad guys, you think?
Yes, those 3 countries will be the bad guys.
In what scenario? What conflict will they be the
When
bad
there's
guys?
no more Palestine and they all get the finger up their ass.
By
Okay.
who? Israel?
The world.
Okay. Well, so far they haven't gotten the finger up the ass from the world.
Well, they will.
All right. Do you?
Okay,
I mean,
I gotta say
Write it
something.
down. That's perfect prediction. Most countries will get,
What
will
they
get
Spain,
their
Ireland,
ass
and Norway are
down.
going to get a finger up the ass. But what's the date on that? What's the over under?
What's the
I
date?
don't know.
End of the year. End of the
Okay.
year. That's just
Yeah.
normal.
Christmas finger
Throw
up
it
the
in
ass.
there with Palestinians going down the tubes.
And I
All right.
know we always talk about the southern border, all the
Mm.
illegals coming in, that needs to be stopped, blah, blah, blah. You think Dad and I are such bad people about the illegals?
Kill them
Now,
all.
okay,
I
except
mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
When he's saying kill them all, that's pretty bad.
yeah,
No, that's
he
pretty
doesn't
good.
mean it. Oh yeah, he doesn't mean it.
He
because,
does mean it. Kill them all.
Because guess what?
Mm.
We have contributed to a couple and given them clothes,
But there
a
are
little bit of
relatives.
money. Stop it.
There are
We are
relatives.
related
What did he
to
say?
illegals. We are related to a few illegals in a way.
Okay.
2.
Two, to be exact.
2 to be exact.
What are you talking about? You can't be cryptic about this if you're going to bring it into the conversation. What are you talking about?
You know this. We have.
I don't.
Oh my
What?
God. Would you please bleep that? Look at what number it was and bleep that out.
What did he say?
He gave information that he shouldn't have.
Okay. 3644 roughly. All right.
No, we know some illegals and we have given them some donations and clothes
Mhm.
and some food and some money because it's really sad. Like, not everybody coming across that border is bad,
Right.
but they're all mixed in with the ones that really want to work, the ones that need the jobs. And there's no way to tell the difference. There is really no way.
And so the solution to that, at least by Dad, is to kill them all?
He's just,
Except for those 2.
he's yelling. He's out of his mind today.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, guess what?
Hmm.
We've been going to physical therapy.
Great.
Both of us. My thumbs are jacked up. They're helping me with acupuncture. He's overall whole body. They're helping him. So he's been going now like 4 different times. Been drinking more water. Guess what?
And beer.
Blood sugar level down at like 120, 120.
89.
I go, what the hell's going on here? And then I go, oh my God, a thing called exercise. That's what's happened. Little exercise never hurt anybody. That's that is 2 weeks of exercise.
Yeah.
And his blood sugar is pretty good. And
Yeah,
he's-
you have to move around or you die.
Yes. They told him that at physical therapy. But they did the very first day they did him. Oh God, I knew it was too much. It was way too much.
Yeah.
His knee got all swollen. He said, I'm not going back. I said, yes, you are. Let's go tell him it can't be that hard on you. So when we went back, the guy was very nice and said, just lay down. We'll heat you today. We'll keep it nice and easy, which they did.
Yeah.
But then they cranked him up at the end a little bit, which he needed. But 2 weeks of that, and his blood sugar levels are like normal.
That's wild.
And he looked at me and goes, what do you think? I said, he goes, why do you think it's normal? We haven't had any normal readings in a while. I said, let's see, exercise.
Yes, of course.
And water.
Of course.
Mhm.
I remember like yesterday when me and Dad played racquetball against each other when you guys still lived in Louisville.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
what was that, 30 years ago probably at this point?
Well, that's our goal, to get back to play some
20
paddleball.
years. Oh, pickleball, you mean?
Pickleball. Yeah, pickleball.
Yeah.
I think I
It's
could
sweeping
do
the
it,
nation.
we've got to get him. We need some paddles. We
Mhm.
need some balls. We have a place to go play. He
That's
needs
awesome.
to get a little bit more stable so he's not falling over on the court.
Yeah. You should check out The Golden Bachelor. Did you guys watch that? Gary Turner was the Golden Bachelor, 73. He was out there smoking people in the pickleball court.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't he divorce the lady he married?
He did, the Golden Divorce, and it kind of ruined that
Why?
franchise for a minute. There's a
Why?
lot of speculation.
Money?
My co-host on Game of Roses says at that age you marry the nurse or the purse, and Teresa Nist was the purse for sure. She had like some money, but
She
they
did?
claimed, yeah, they claimed that it was the distance. They both lived in different cities where their families were, and they couldn't figure out a way to meet in the middle or whatever. I think it had more to do with Gary Turner probably wanted a little bit of fame out of it, which he got. And then they both kind of were like, yeah, this is not going to work out. And they just ended it and took from it their Instagram followers and their brand deals and all of that.
So did they feel pressured to marry? The
Feel
people
pressured.
that
They
date
got
on that,
paid to do it.
they got paid to get married?
Yes. They had a televised wedding on ABC. And they got paid money to do it.
I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
Dad had a brain fart. He just got back from the restroom and he remembered something.
Oh, what?
The real McCoy. His name is Walter Brennan.
Oh, I thought he remembered the wrestling guy's name.
No.
That's what I thought too. Well, who's the real McCoy? What's that mean?
Okay, right now Dad limped out of here because of physical therapy, and he was like, like crimping, and now he remembered.
Walter Brennan from the real McCoys.
And that's what Dad looks like now when he crimps down in here. Chad
Okay.
doesn't even know who that is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You'll have to Google it later. It's an old man that was on the real McCoys, and he had a little gimp going.
Okay.
When
Fair enough. Let's move on to our final topic. Are video games the problem? The families of victims of the Uvalde school shooting filed lawsuits against Mark Zuckerberg's Meta and one of the largest video game studios and publishers in the world, Activision Blizzard, on Friday, arguing the companies played a role in grooming the
Wayne
teenage
Jackson.
gunman. What?
Who is that?
That's the guy I lost to
Now he remembered the name
from Arc City.
from
What's his name?
wrestling.
Wayne Jackson.
Okay.
The wrongful death complaints seek to prove that Georgia-based gun manufacturer Daniel Defense used Instagram in conjunction with Call of Duty video games to market the weapon used by 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, who shot and killed 19 children and 2 teachers and injured several others at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas in 2022. The lawsuits claim Meta and Activision are, quote, chewing up alienated teenage boys and spitting out mass shooters, and that Instagram's poor oversight of its platforms gives gun manufacturers, quote, an unsupervised channel to speak directly to minors. The complaints also argue that Call of Duty has created an addicting channel for violence among teenage boys and trained them to use the weapons in real life. What? What's his question?
I tried to explain to him what you were talking about. Call of Duty, that video game,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of violence.
Yeah.
Roman plays it.
I've played it a bunch.
Chad's played it.
So my question is this.
Mhm.
Should these
And I never
companies-
have. And I'd rather kill him than you wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say you're more likely to be a mass shooter than me, and I've played all these video games. And I'm on Meta. Should you be able to advertise guns on social media?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes.
Even
Why
though
not?
because it's a product that you cannot buy as a child, just like cigarettes.
Oh, because
You-
the kids are going to be seeing that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that game isn't just for kids.
No, I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about just like one of the main complaints in this is that this company that made the gun can just
Yeah.
put their shit on Facebook and anyone
Sure.
can see it, including children.
Yes.
Okay, Mom?
I don't know. I don't
Should
know.
cigarettes and alcohol be able to be advertised on social media?
Sure.
No,
Anything.
not for little kids.
Sure.
Yeah, what about
Okay.
the protecting the children? I thought that was a big part of your rhetoric.
It
Yeah.
is.
They
Stop
don't
doing
have
that.
to go out, drink, and smoke and shoot. But the
No.
company has the right to advertise it.
Okay.
If the media is willing to take their money.
Well, that's why they're suing Meta, because they're saying you shouldn't be
Oh,
taking
well,
their
there
money.
you
You
go.
shouldn't allow
Mhm.
this.
There might be some consequences, but
How-
they should be able to advertise.
How about when you were talking about social media?
They took their fucking money, so they should be able to say what they want.
Did you see the text I sent you about in our neighborhood? A kid was like buzzing down the street in a four-wheeler. And, you know, there's cars coming around that could have crashed right into him and killed him instantly. This was on Mother's Day.
We could only hope.
I didn't know who the kid was. I went out there, yelled at him, "Hey, stop, slow down." And that's against the law to do a four-wheeler in our neighborhood.
Okay.
I didn't know who he was. So I went to our HOA page, did a little clip of him going past me 100 miles an hour. I said, whoever's kid this is, please tell him to stop. He's going to get killed. I got so much shit from this one lady that said, our children have enough pressure in the world. Putting a clip of him like that on a social media page, you could be sued and blah, 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 blah. Number one, you couldn't see his face.
Mhm.
Number two, I didn't know who to call. I didn't know his parents. I didn't know who he was to say, stop. We use that HOA page for things like that. We have used it for kids that knock on people's doors at night and run, because a lot of us in the neighborhood pack heat, and they could pull out guns and shoot them.
Sure.
So anyway, about 3 or 2 people did take my side, and they said, hey, this was a lady trying to protect a kid in our neighborhood.
So he did run into the flower pot.
Oh yeah, he did run into a flower pot down the way, came curving around, missed the curve, went up into a garage area and broke this flower pot.
Mhm.
That man did call his dad, made him call his dad. His dad came, and he no longer was on the four-wheeler. But a lot of people did take my side and say, this really isn't social media that's going into the next galaxy, where someone could have seen it.
How many people are on that HOA page?
100? We have 90 homes in the neighborhood. Yeah. I thought that was odd that someone would get on my butt for saying, she said, I'm so ashamed to even let my children out. If people like you are going to be videoing everything and putting it on our HOA page.
Yeah, keep your damn kid in.
Maybe go to another neighborhood, right?
Every human being is photographed, and
everywhere.
Video footage is taken of you hundreds of times a day. And that stuff exists everywhere. Cops can literally...
I promise the first thing that I thought of was, oh my God, he's going to get killed. I was thinking about his safety. That's the only reason I posted that on there. But you know what? I've learned a good lesson. You know what? Fuck them all. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call the police. Come on, please. I'll just call the police from now on. Because I will not be like called out like that when I was trying to do something good.
Right.
To save a kid's life on Mother's Day. I'll just call the police.
And what will that do, calling the police, you think?
They will come and make him stop, and then he won't get killed in the street riding a four-wheeler.
So you're going to call the police for the kid's protection? Or is it to teach him a lesson and win this little fight with your HOA?
Well, I'm not going to do it on our yuppie little HOA page that think I was a bad woman for posting that.
Got it.
Yep.
Fuck them all. That's the lesson learned.
Cops, here we come.
All right. Let me ask you this question with regard to this lawsuit. Do you think video games are a pipeline to gun ownership and possibly mass shooting? Do you think they have any influence on that?
I don't know. I mean, I think they have proven it does, haven't they?
They've proven it does not.
Oh, it does not?
But this is an argument that keeps coming up again and again and again, and it's used in these lawsuits, and it's something that people seem to never let it drop, even though it has been proven time and time again that that's not the case. It has about as much of an effect as violent movies or TV shows.
Oh, okay. Then no, yeah. So who won't let it drop? The Democrats?
Anybody who's offering or who's trying to issue these lawsuits. And I feel for these people who are like the families of all these kids that got killed at Uvalde and everything. But it seems the way they're going about this is they're not blaming gun laws. They're not blaming the people who are passing legislation that make it very easy to purchase these things. They're saying, oh, social media and video games are the problem. Get rid of those, or at least have those companies pay us something. And I don't mind that. Activision, Blizzard, and Meta are billion-dollar corporations. Pay these families some money. Sure, who cares? But the idea that it's their fault, to me, seems very misplaced.
It goes back to parenting.
Yeah,
Good.
parenting, but also laws. It's the ease with which any disgruntled kid can get their hands on one of these AR-15s or any of these guns that they're using. It just seems too easy to get guns in this country. When you look
Yeah.
at a place like Japan, where the rigorous testing and everything that you have to go through to get a gun, and then even then, you can only get a handgun. It's like, why don't we have those laws? And if you look at the death rate by gun in Japan, it's virtually zero. They have like under 10 people a year. Here,
But one year it was the prime minister or something that got killed by a gun. Yeah.
By handgun.
Somebody real important.
yeah, I mean, that
Yeah.
can happen. But I'm just saying the volume.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they don't have a kid walking into a school with an AR-15 and killing 19 children.
Well,
That
neither
doesn't
do
happen.
we here.
Oh, okay. Yes.
The AR-15 wasn't bought by the kid.
What?
It was a rifle.
You can get that gun somewhere other than buying it.
Sure. I'm not talking specifically about that gun. I'm also talking about the psychology of mass shooting. And I think
Yeah.
it is the psychology of it here is like it gets televised, it gets reported on, these people get glorified to some degree, and then they're like, I'm gonna do one of those. How do I get the gun? Oh, you just go
But
to
they're
Walmart.
also dead.
No big deal. Huh?
Yeah.
What Dad said?
There what?
He said they get glorified, but they're also dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually
Okay.
the shooters do die. Yeah.
Right. But in death, they become martyrs for that kind of weird, fucked up ideology. And then it
Yes.
creates more mass
Oh.
shooters, which is the
Yeah.
same thing that's happening to Hamas. For every person you kill in Palestine, you're creating more Hamas. People who are like, fuck you.
No, we're
You
not.
tried to wipe us out.
We're
Now I don't
winning.
care if I die. That right there, the idea of I'm going to commit this atrocious act, this horrific act, and I don't care if I die. And even if I die, it will be good. Once that is in your head, there's no way to stop this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're doing stuff like killing people's entire families or trying to do a genocide, the people who are left over from that don't care if they die
That's
because
the
they've already
point.
accepted
There
that they
won't be
probably
any
will.
of them left over.
Okay. Y'all are getting too deep. Okay.
All right. Sorry. That's our show for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're getting too deep now, says my mom.
Thank you, Jesus.
Jesus has nothing to do with this podcast, but thank him anyway. And thank everybody for joining us. Again, if you want to
Baby
send me questions, just record them in a 1 minute or shorter audio format. Send them to thenecessaryconversationpod@gmail.com. Please, we need those questions. And hopefully Haley will be here next week.
Who knows? And
We'll find out.
also on YouTube, when you can, watch us and tune in there,
Mhm.
that new, what do you call it? It's the new way that you are presenting it is pretty cool.
Thank you.
With the titles at the bottom and all
Yeah.
that. At first I thought, ooh, I don't like it. But then I did.
Yeah, it looks good.
What's it called? A new...
It's just a lower
Well-
third. It's like a CNN style lower third. This next episode, the one we're recording right now, will look a little different too. Trying some new things,
Why?
trying to zhuzh it up a little bit
Why? Why are you changing it?
to make it look better.
So all of our 200 followers will go to like 199 now. 199 followers.
I don't know what it's going to do to our
Yeah.
followers. I don't think any of
Dad
us.
is kicking me in the knee saying, let him shut it down. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. He
All right.
fucking hurt me.
Well, let me shut it down. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Mom, I love you. Dad, I love you too. Haley, wherever you are, I love you as well.
Chad, I love you. Haley, wherever you're at. I love you, Dad. Bob, I love you.
I love you, Chad. I love you, Haley. I love you, Mary Lou.
Oh.
Show over.
What's Thursday?
What's Thursday? Our
I don't-
anniversary. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Thursday's your anniversary? How many years?
44. Well, how old are you?
I'm about to be 48.
So how old's
No,
our
I'm about to
anniversary?
be. Yeah, I'm about to be 48.
So how old's our anniversary?
48. 9.
49.
Damn. That's pretty
Yeah.
wild. Well, we'll have to
Yeah.
do something, a little celebration in next week's episode.
Okie dokie.
All right. Until then, everybody, have a good rest of your week, and we will see you next week.
Happy Memorial Day weekend. Bye.
Bye.
That's a good one.